Okay, we are live on YouTube.
Okay. Ujuanin Minogajib. Welcome everybody to the Tribal Council meeting today, July 20, and we're virtual because we're still seeing cases of COVID. We're having an uptick, so I want to welcome you all to the meeting. I would like to at this time call the meeting to order at 9:09 a.m. And behind me, you can see our spiritual advisor, Vern Adams, and he will be doing the invocation this morning. So Vern. Miigwech, Vern.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Chi Miigwech. Okay. Before we do roll call, I want to welcome Tara Gizik, our new Secretary Treasurer, and Robert Moyer, our new District 2 Rep, and also congratulate Shane on his re-election to the Tribal Council. So with that, we will start with roll call. Welcome, Jeff Holt, our Tribal Attorney as well.
Morning.
Roll call, please.
Kathy Chambers.
Here.
Tara Gishik.
You're muted, Tara.
Thank you. Here.
Shane Drift.
Oh my, yeah.
Travis Morrison.
He's excused.
And Robert Moyer.
Here.
Okay. Next, we'll have approval of the agenda.
I just have one addition to the agenda. In front of me there, we'll put Kim Greiner with the contract for the small business loan.
Oh,
Where are you gonna put that at, Rob?
Be right after Deanna, right before me. So
okay. Any other additions?
I don't know if this needs to be an actual item, but I would like to discuss when we go back into in-person RTC meetings, just for transparency and interaction with the public, as far as, reciprocal. So they can hear us and they can get real answers in real time.
We can put that under Robbie for discussion. In-person meetings. Okay, good. Any other additions? If not, I'd like to call a motion to approve the agenda with those additions.
Oh,
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Okay, next we have approval of the meeting minutes from June 15, 2022 of our virtual meeting. I just want to say that at our last meeting, we did have the reports by the directors, and we are going to be setting that up in a separate meeting. It did take a little long, but it's good information for the tribal members to have. So we will be trying to get that implemented still within the realm of where people can hear what they have to say, and but probably not at a council meeting, because it did run rather lengthy, but it was very good to hear that information.
A couple of questions under that, what you just brought up about the directors bringing up giving a department update. One of them is regarding the green bins with our new garbage program.
Yes.
If we could get out the information, if it's going to be costing our band members anything, for purchasing those green bins, or are they free?
Right now, that's up to the utility board. Right now, the bins are there, and it's part of our new garbage program. And so those bins and the garbage truck were purchased with COVID money, I believe, CARES money. And because of the garbage situation, having more garbage because of the pandemic. And so that would be up to the utility board to decide, though. We don't make that decision.
Okay. And then the other one is an update from from maybe Jalen or maybe education, Travis, regarding a update on the language grants and funding, and then the course of action that we're going to be taking regarding the language.
Yeah, that I think is probably being discussed. Rob, you want to take this one at the directors' meetings. But yeah, that would come in the monthly report from Jalen that we'll be doing. So I think the other part I want to know about, and I think we need to get information out, is on the Rosetta Stone funding that we have, and how many have applied and where are we at with that. But those are good updates to get to the tribal members. We can put that out on the website and pages, but I think too also for the update reports for the directors to give virtually, so all the band members can hear. Rob, you have a question? You had a comment on the utility board?
Yeah, I can bring that up to utility board. Right now, I don't believe it's going to cost them any more than what they're already paying for, like the garbage fee. It should be staying there, but if they need more, I do know that we're kind of running low, so we might have to order some more. Mm-hmm. So I can bring that up at the next utility board meeting. And as far as the directors, I can make sure to get Jay on so he can get an update. Right now, he's out, like he's in Grand Portage doing some stuff for them. So, but I can get you guys update and we'll get it live. So, or out like that somehow.
But I think that if we also included like our elders and also our spiritual advisor were, and kind of get an idea what they'd like to see done regarding our language and culture, and something where it has specific projects in mind, and that the ultimate end goal is to basically not only preserve our culture and language, but also basically to get people to giving them a chance to learn it. Whether it's books and CDs and something on the internet, on Facebook or something, or something specific in mind. A plan of action.
Yeah, because I know that a lot of the programs do some, like regalia programs and that, but it's basically not recorded. So a lot of people don't know that it's being done. It's kind of done on a local level. Or I know down in the Minneapolis urban office, they do a lot. Duluth area, they do a lot, but nothing's recorded. So I think that's where that would be very beneficial for us to have some of that stuff recorded. So, yep, a good idea. Okay. Any other questions on the minutes?
Oh.
Is that a move, Shane?
I
Did you say no? Oh, okay.
No more questions.
Doris has her hand up.
Okay, Doris. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. I was just going to let you know, as far as some projects with the language, there was a grant in with Minnesota State Humanities center, and we made it to round phase 2, and so they're still looking at that grant. And what that grant will do, if funded, is record elders talking about our history, talking about identifying families and clans, so people can follow the family name, who's related to who, and that sort of thing. And while it's being recorded, they will be speaking and encouraged to speak in the native language so we can record the dialect. And so I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed that that grant is funded. And I know one of the things Jalen is really passionate about trying to get on the reservation is an apprentice program, a master apprentice program.
Mm.
And what that program will do is it'll hire an elder person who is fluent in the language, and that's the master. The apprentice is then you'd hire a person, a younger adult that is sincere about learning the language and becoming a teacher to teach children the language. And so this person would spend a minimum of 40 hours a week with the elder, just daily activities, ceremony, different traditional things that whatever they might do according to the season, just kind of shadowing this elder, and then they would be encouraged to speak the language and not speak any English. And that would be for a period of 2 years. During the interim, then this person would be able to, we'd work with the school and the Head Start for the person to go in and teach basic language that they've learned to the children. And then the ultimate goal then was the person would be become a teacher that could actually go on and teach the language. And so then by that, we've increased the number of people that know the language. So when our elders do pass on, there's somebody in the community that knows the language. And so we've submitted a grant for that. Unfortunately, it wasn't funded. But we continue to look for grants and work on a master apprentice program. And Kathy and the rest of you older RTC members probably remember Jay talking about that kind of program. And so that's what that program will do.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you, Doris.
So,
thanks for that information.
Yeah. Thanks.
Kim?
I was going to say the garbage truck and the bins were bought with the Tribal Nations grant from the.
Oh, thank you. Okay. That was the grant from the state, correct? Kim?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. We've gotten so many pools of money, it's hard to remember where they're coming from. That was a pool of money that the state of Minnesota gave each tribe $1 million to help within the pandemic era. And it was very, very helpful for all tribes. Is that correct, Kim? Is that the one? Oh. Okay, maybe she went away from her desk that quick. Okay. All right, now we're back to, is there a motion to approve the minutes from June 15, 2022? I need a motion.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay, next we have the consent agenda and I'll read it off. Resolution number 126-2022, approving our Boys Fort Tribal Transportation Plan for FY 2022-400. Resolution number 125-2022, approving the TTIP Retained Services Agreement for FY 22. Next is approve 2 new conservation committee members, 400. Approve billboard lease agreement, Red Sunset Land Development for Victim Services, 400. Resolution number 9-2023, approving GRE easement over the Y store, 400. Approve purchase of service agreement with St. Louis County, 400. Resolution number 10-2023, revising 477 plan. Amend resolution number 9-2023, authorizing Tara Giesick to sign. Resolution number 11-2023, changing bank signatures. Then we have 2 donation requests for individuals to participate in the NABI basketball tournament in Arizona, 400. Any questions or if not?
Yes, I got a question. If we could explain a little bit about the letter E, resolution number 9-2023, approving GRE easement over the Y store. We could just explain that a little bit.
Great Rivers Energy easement, that's for the installing of, Jeff, you want to explain that? That's kind of more.
Yeah, sure. So this was an easement that actually is been in place for a while. It's my understanding that these are for utility lines across the Y store parcel that Great River Energy has that have actually been operating and active for at least a couple of years. This is the paperwork that's needed to actually approve the easement itself, which will be recorded in the county. So there were prior resolutions for prior councils that approved compensation for it and approved the easement itself. It had never been signed and actually recorded. So this is getting the paperwork in place so that Great River Energy has the easement so that the compensation can be paid to the band for that easement. That's kind of a nutshell, if that helps.
Yep.
And also the letter B, approving resolution 125-2022, approving TTIP retained services agreement, FYI 2022.
Hang on, Kim has her hand up for that last one, I think.
Yes, on the Great River Energy one though, didn't we already we had received compensation a couple of years ago, so I don't know if there's another piece coming or.
There was a couple of Great River Energy easements. There was one that was actually initiated in 2010, and then there was one that was, I think, initiated in 2018. So it might be the other one. My understanding was this one that Great River Energy coordinated with us, and they had never paid the band for this easement over the Y store property. So they will now that the documents are executed. So the band will get those funds.
Yep, and then what we did with the previous funds that we got like that, we put that into the leasing program. It is what we had previously done.
What was the amount?
This payment amount, I don't have the resolution in front of me, but I believe it's a little bit over $50,000.
Okay, as far as the TTIP retained services agreement, I cannot remember what that is. And we don't have anything in our agenda. Right.
I recall what that was. That was through Joel, and the TTIP retained services is every year the band can agree to retain certain transportation services and conduct them on their own, even though they're BIA funded. So I believe this retained services agreement just shows which of the transportation related services that Boy Sport's gonna do itself internally, and then it gets BIA funding to complete those services.
Yeah, am I on mute still or?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. TTIP stands for Tribal Transportation Improvement Plan.
Okay, thank you. There's so many acronyms.
Yes, and that's why I brought that up, is because it's just not, it just has consent agenda on our package, but there's nothing after that. You can't see what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that, guys. Any other questions? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Robert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay, Rob,
Okay, first we have Lynette Totlin approving the MHFA grant agreement for housing fund operation.
good morning, Lynette.
Good morning. Yes, I'd like to, this was a resolution needed for the MHF grant agreement with the state. That the agreement was actually approved by council back on May 18th. And then the state came back and requested a resolution be signed by the council. So we did have Jeff complete the resolution on the 28th.
Okay,
So this,
go ahead.
this just needs approval.
Okay, and basically it's for us to enter into a new housing trust fund operating subsidy grant agreement from October 1, 2022 through September 30, 2024 for a maximum amount of $76,918 for each of the 2 fiscal years during the grant term. So it's just a formality that the state is required.
Yep.
Okay,
Manette,
Yes.
when you fulfill this grant requirement and all that each year, do you guys have to write a report?
Yes. Yeah, there's reporting. Pam Hughes does the reporting for it.
Okay.
I believe every quarter.
and financial also.
Yep, the financials gets done by accounting.
If you could send me a copy of that, maybe, I don't know if the other council members want a copy of it too, just from last year or whatever. And so let's take a look at it.
Yep, I can request that and get it sent to you.
Thank you.
Okay, and are there any questions for Lynette? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve resolution number 12-2023, approving the 2022-2024 MHFA grant agreement for housing fund operating subsidy.
I'll move.
Thanks, Tara.
Second.
Motion by Tara, second by Robert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Lynette. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, next we have Deanna Drift. She has 3 resolutions for leasing.
Good morning, Deanna.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can see me too?
No,
I don't see myself on the screen, so
no, you're not on the screen.
just making sure.
Okay,
Okay, so the first one I have is a Minnesota Chippewa Tribe residential lease for Michael and Tanya Connor.
okay,
This is basically a renewal. It's a 25-year lease with an option to renew for an additional 25 years.
okay. Any questions for Deanna? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve resolution 13-2023 issuance of residential lease to Michael and Tanya Connor.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay, go ahead, Dee Dee.
Okay, the next one is our first USDA lease, and this is for Chelsea Winans. And I just want to say Jeff worked on this lease prior to my stepping in, so
Okay.
thank you for that, Jeff. So this was all done and ready to go, but this is our first official one.
Wonderful. That was a task, I know, dealing with USDA now, because that's a new funding agency. So that's really good. Any questions on Chelsea's?
Oh, and it's a 25-year.
Oh, okay. Thank
And
you.
then being that it's new, I know you guys have read this and approved it already. I just want to make sure that We read number 4 under the term.
Okay.
There are 2 permissions that are needed if anything should happen to leasehold improvements.
Okay,
Other than that, this is also on our Cedar Grove Development 2
okay,
project up in Vermillion.
okay. Gotcha. Any questions for Deanna or regarding number 4, even on the term of the residential lease? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve resolution number 14-2023, issuance of residential lease to Chelsea Winans.
I'll move.
Moved by Tara. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Robert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have
So
one
the-
more. Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking, just checking.
So this last one is a modification of lease for Ronald and Vivian Adams. This lease is asking for adding successors in interest. Their 2 sons, Christopher and Peter.
Okay. Any questions on this one? If not, we'll call for a motion to approve the resolution number 15-2023, issuance of residential lease to Ronald and Vivian Adams with that modification. Moved by Robert. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay, great. Great job, Deanna.
Yep, thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, next we have, oh, sorry, Rob.
Oh, you're good. I was gonna say,
Kim.
next we have
Go
Kim,
ahead.
yeah.
You said I was good. I said it. Good morning, and Kim again.
Good morning. I have 2 parts to the state's, it's the state small business creditive initiative program, also referred to as the SSBCI. What this program is the US Treasury had direct allocations to tribes to start small business programs for tribes. States also had it too. And we get a direct allocation, and there's a lot of work to go into it. And it's all in the form of loans for small businesses to help them do that. And so Voice Fort's direct allocation, there's 4 sections to it, 4 different types of programs that are in there. It comes to $911,616. We are capped at a 5% maximum administration cost to this. And so that would be for, so there isn't enough person and to hire a person, because this program runs through September 30th, 2030. So it's,
Wow.
So it's about an 8-year program. And so what happens is, so we went out, we've had a lot of conversations. We've asked for agencies to help. We've asked to collaborate with some other tribes. So Grand Portage and us ended up being the 2 that are collaborating kind of together. And we did an RFP and we got 1 response from Northspan, and Northspan had done Fond du Lac. Fond du Lac was farther along in their process. So that's, they just continued on their line, but they're helping us out too. Well, in the meantime, while we were looking for assistance for people to help us administrate this program, I've been working with the Northland Foundation, Northspan, and the IRRB and the Entrepreneur Fund. So on top of that, with this entrepreneur fund has, Northland Foundation and Entrepreneur Fund both have letters of support in the program. But Entrepreneur Fund came along with a, it came along with a, an offer of, they're adding another, and it's not just for Boys Fort, it's for tribes in the area. They're setting aside another $500,000 in addition to this $900,000 to be given out at 0% loans and small payments. And then they also have a $750 technology grant that goes with it. The stuff was, and so the application is due, our program design and application is due by September 1st. And so we have about 5 weeks to finish it up. But there's been tons and tons of educational meetings and support from US Treasury on listening session or, guidance sessions and stuff, but there's just so many moving parts to it. We didn't have the capacity, the time or the expertise to do it. So that's why we're going out. So the contract is with Northspan. And then the other part that's not in there, because that's the addendum. So the Northspan contract is for $43,928 to design and help administer the program. And then there's an addendum because there's also going to be called technical dollars that come through. And the technical program side is the funding for helping potential businesses. They'll have workshops for them to learn what they need to do and how to, it might be doing their business plan and doing their research and applying for resources, getting all the proper, if they need certain licenses or registered with the state of Minnesota, getting EINs, doing their pro formas, and help them with support as they get up and running in their business and help them do proper reporting and stuff like that. So it's a really a great opportunity, a lot of money, but we have a very short time to do this. So this is the contract for them to design our program to be submitted to the US Treasury. Our goal is to have our program sometime early 2023 available for people to apply for businesses. Could be existing or new businesses.
And that's, Kim, what you're explaining then is basically this is the start of the program. And then between now and September 1st, we'll be having meetings regarding how to set up Boys Fort's program. Because I see within here, and I've talked with you a little bit about this because it's a huge program that we wish we could administer ourselves. But this actually, I think, works out better where people can get the workshops to actually assist them with at no cost to them, and then apply for the funding or whatever, the loan funding. The thing is that I've heard of 2 tribes that are doing what they're going to do with their funding, and it's kind of interesting because Fond du Lac, for example, is opening this funding up to their tribal members. And are they doing descendants too, Kim?
I don't think Fond du Lac is doing descendants. I don't remember, but that's the second part of my discussion on who we're gonna, because we need to.
We have to determine who is going to be accessing these funds, because like Fond du Lac is even opening it up to non-band members within for businesses within the reservation, because then that increases their sales tax.
Yeah. And Mille Lacs is opened it up to any business in their 7 taxing districts, kind of the same thing. So
whether it's native or non-native within their tax base.
Yep.
And so the other thing is I see Grand Portage now has put theirs for band members and their descendants to access funds in order to begin and grow their respectful business. So we've got a lot to discuss, but it's a really good program. It's a lot of money until 2030 is really good. But I love the educational part, because it's hard to run a business without knowing what licenses you need, what reporting you need, that type of stuff. So.
And so the other part of this is it's a revolving loan fund. So how it'll work is Northspan will be doing the education and the consulting and the application process. That recommendation will come back to the tribal council to be approved.
Mm-hmm.
We'll cut the checks from here. We'll do the reporting side, type thing, but they'll do the day in and day out work. And then they'll help do the loan administration. And when they make loan payments, it comes back to the tribe to be put into this fund to be reloaned. And then after 2030, I believe the funds can become unrestricted or remain as a revolving business loan program.
Nice. Nice.
So there's a lot of great stuff with it. And so the other thing is that I know you as council members or the ones that I've seen, I'm always asking who's current business owners or potential ones, because I have been making a list because on August 2nd, we'll be having a meeting in the afternoon at Fortune Bay, and they want input from actual current business owners to find their needs, because what Northspan said is when they went to Fond du Lac, they found people didn't want great big $100,000 loans. They needed between $5,000 and $20,000. So all that information gathering goes into our application. And so we'll be doing a mailing, so like afterwards, if someone knows a business, I've been asking all kinds of people. So I have about 30 to 40 people on my list. I had reached out to the urban offices and got information from them too. So, I've been walking around, but not everybody will be able to be there, but it's just kind of, they'll explain the program and ask for input, because it can be accessed by some of our smaller enterprises too, for the tribal government, like the C-stores type stuff. So there's input there. The other big area that I've already invited Christine and Vonda, because one of the things that came out of our community survey is the need for daycare. And we need to kind of promote like a in-home daycare businesses. And this would be an ideal opportunity to find out what they would need to get going, And so this is an opportunity for those people who are maybe interested in that, to getting resources to open a business.
That's great, Kim. The other thing we need to decide is the service area.
Yeah.
And so are we going to open it to all band members, or the off reservation band members, or that there's a lot of decision making to be done. Shane, you have your hand up?
Yep. I'm not sure if I heard you correctly, but is there going to be a set amount that can be loaned out to this program?
That will come out in the working sessions with the public, and that's the first one. I think there's only going to be opportunity for one, but that's what they'll get the input in at the August 2nd meeting.
Because I think, what that is being worked on to be established is that the tribe cannot just rely on garnishing per capita if somebody defaults on their loan, because to pay off a $20,000 loan, if you're garnishing a per capita payment, which is maybe $800, $900, you're going to be garnishing it for a long time.
Well, we've had our small business loan program here that nobody's gotten some of those that haven't repaid, haven't gotten a per capita for a long time, like what Shane is mentioning. This is just so everybody knows, these are monies from the U.S. Treasury, and it's not from any fund under the council right now. But that's a good point, because I know that with our small business loan program in the past, there are still tribal members paying off with their per capitas because they did not pay the loan back.
Yeah, except for during the pandemic for the last 3 years, we have garnished.
Yep.
So that.
My next question is it restricted as to what type of business they can go after? Like, let's say they want to go after, they want to sell edibles and THC drinks. Do they need to stay within the reservation? Do they need to stay within the state, or can they go where marijuana is legal in the other states? Can they say, okay, well, we've got 5 band members that want to invest 100,000 into a business in a state that's legal?
Okay. So first, that's a second part of my discussion because I had 2 things on my agenda request for this. So the first, we need to approve the contract, and then the second discussion is who we want to serve. Kathy's brought it up a couple of times. So I was trying to keep, get the contract done, and then we need to have the discussion, the second part of that discussion.
Yep. And this really, as far as the loans go, Kim, who actually approves those loans?
Once they have the package together, it will come back to the tribal council.
Okay.
Respective tribal council. So like Grand Portages will go to Grand Portages, ours will come to us.
Okay. Cool.
Or do you think we should set up like a kind of like a loan committee comprised of some of our directors in the tribal council? That way, when it comes through.
That's what Northspan is doing, and they're getting all that stuff together and prepared and recommendations, and then it comes to us for final approval.
And you mentioned the meeting August 2nd at Fortune Bay. That's getting people's input with regards to that.
Yep. So I had already invited all the council via, a Teams. I sent out a Teams invite for the meeting. And like I said, I included Mayan because of some of the enterprises, and Vonda and Christine. But once we get this approved, we can work with Northspan. We can get an invite out to my list of businesses that we've been asked, to get them, because Northspan said, when they did Fond du Lac, they had 5 to 10 people there as a kind of a core input group, and it was very useful and went really well. So I know not everybody can make it, but I'm trying to get a good representation.
Yeah, and I think that this is the starting point, and we have until September 1st to get this totally done. So we've got work to do, but it's an awesome program. It's excellent for our tribal members. Okay, any other questions for Kim? We need to approve the contract with Northspan. We have a motion to approve that contract.
I had a question, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Rob.
Kim, when we do the meeting at Fortune Bay, are we going to be able to hold it virtual for folks that are off reservation to attend if they have a business or some idea?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, we have it set up with technology and stuff. And in fact, I just sent the requisition for the room to Tara in DocuSign. So if you see it, that's what comes up. Hopefully I typed, it went through and stuff. So we got lots of moving parts going on that. So, but the biggest thing is to get the contract, because I have had a weekly meeting for probably the last 2 to 3 months on Wednesday afternoons. So I have a meeting again today with our all our collaborators and stuff. And in fact, the state of Minnesota deed had Kirk Croshoe jumps in once in a while too to help us.
Yeah, it's a great collaboration between
them. And I don't know if I mentioned, and IRRB has been helping us too.
Yep.
So there's been a lot of organizations working on this.
Okay, good. Do we have a motion to approve the contract with Northspan in the amount of $43,928 to design and administer our SSBCI program?
I'll move.
Moved by Tara. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Kim, I really want to commend you for all the work you've done with this. This is a very complicated program. And by trying to find a way to make it work with those collaborators, I just want to say you did a great job. It's coming to light, and it'll be a great benefit. So I appreciate what you've done, because this is a lot of this money's coming down through our accounting department, and Kim is the main one there that's trying to get everything in order. So I just want to say great job.
Now, we had the second part of the discussion now is who we serve. Because that's probably what I need to report back to on my meeting today. We tried to, we had talked about it briefly with, I think we talked about it briefly with Tara, Robert, and Travis last week when we were having an informal meeting. And then we were going to talk about it on Monday morning meeting, but we didn't have that. So, so we, as these direct allocation programs come down from the U.S. Treasury, we can design our programs how we want them. So we need to decide who we're going to serve. And I can tell you this amount of money is quite big, if, and that would be a lot of programs. But we need to decide who we're going to serve. Are we going to serve band members, all band members, or are we going to restrict it to the state? My inkling is to go for any band member, to serve our band members first. So that's where that should be. I'm just making recommendations, you guys.
Yep, no, that's fine, Kim.
Now, as we get additional funds, not all funds will be available to people in certain areas. So, it might be restricted somewhat by on location. To Shane's question, I think any legal business is, we wouldn't restrict what business you're in, but it has to be a legal business, I think is probably about the only restriction. So if marijuana is legal in the state that they're in, I don't know, I haven't got into the rules of that, but if it's in the state, I would think it would be a viable, if it's legal in that state, it would be a viable project. Then I was thinking of descendants, and I don't know how you want to define that, if you want to do first generation descendants, because a lot of them still live in the area, because part of this is economic development. It's not only just small business, but it's also economic development. And do you want to restrict that to just people in the state of Minnesota, bring that into a smaller region? And then the third area I would consider is any business on the reservation, which on our reservation, we don't have a lot of other businesses other than band owner or, actual band entities or a few people. But what that would possibly help for is if we hit a certain threshold, we would get more sales tax sharing eventually. Hopefully they hire band members and community members to work for their businesses. So again, going back to economic development. So those are the because that's what I probably should be bringing back today to my meeting. If you guys could decide who you want to serve.
Right now, the only business we have off the reservation or not on trust land is the Y store, correct?
Currently, yes.
Okay.
But it's not us.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just wondering because I was wondering about any other, like with Fond du Lac and Mille Lacs, they have, non-Indian businesses within their districts. So that's why I mentioned that.
Yeah, but but also, the new C-store in Eveleth may, depending on how we design our program, might be eligible for some of these funds also.
Okay. Okay. Well, for sure, I would say all band members. And I would just put it out for all band members, no matter where they live. Because it's a great opportunity for them. That's my opinion. The other thing I guess I would like to say is, and this goes with the blood quantum issue, I would say also that it should be open to descendants, maybe first generation descendants, like Kim mentioned, because we didn't put blood quantum on ourselves. The federal government put blood quantum on us. So, you know, I think that we also have families, and here's an example. We have band members who are married to non-Indians that maybe, you know, they want to start a business. It still impacts the family. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's a lot of money. You know, the more people have businesses, the better. And maybe some descendants will want to have daycare. Daycare is a huge issue. I don't know. I just think that we should be given an opportunity. And I would say maybe to limit the descendants to, I guess, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to decide because there's so many options.
I think that, yes, I agree. All band members, also descendants should be included, first generation descendants. Then if we're going to be looking at spouses of band members, that it should be the one, I don't know if we want to say legally married.
Oh, okay.
Rather than traditionally married.
Okay.
Legally married, so that way, you know, if something happens and then well, whatever happens there. But legally married spouses of band members. So let's say me and my girlfriend got married and she wanted to start a business, then she could access the program. It's just a suggestion or a thought.
Are you telling us you're getting married? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully someday though.
I would like it to be for band members throughout the US. But I would like it to be restricted to band members only. And then first generation descendants, not spouses of. I mean, the band member could apply and the spouse would, you know, be a co, but not by themselves, of course. But I also think economically, where are we hurting? We're hurting on the reservation. So I wish there would be like a point system, because we really do need daycare on the reservation. And we also need native daycares within like the Iron Range and in and around. I think they have a little bit more in Duluth and the urban Minneapolis and St. Paul. But for right now, I know we don't have any, you know, any childcares places here, or home daycares, I should say, or any businesses operating by band members. Maybe we have one or two. So I think we need to increase where we're hurting, and that would be here, you know. So I think that should be for our band members, this opportunity. Okay, and now I'm saying by 2030, you know, maybe we're not accessing the funds as much as we could open it up later. Is there opportunity for that? But for right now, let's focus on our band members and where we're hurting and where we need small business, rather than just opening it all up. And then those that can, that have a better chance of applying and receiving quicker, you know, having this money quicker. I just want the opportunity for us, for a small business that's just starting up and they're just starting out and they have a great idea. We should be focusing on that. That's going to improve in and around here, you know, in and around Bois Forte, Nett Lake and Vermilion. And then maybe our urban offices around there. Because small business, small towns, we're hurting. So I think that's where we need to focus. Where are we hurting? Where are we lacking? That's what we need to focus on.
Robert?
Well, the band member for sure, no matter where they live. Descendants, first generation sounds really a good start. But what if, say, somebody wanted to open a daycare on the res and they were a non-band member? How could we somehow affiliate that into it? And they're not married to a band member. What the what ifs are, there's so many, and I think we really need a really good talk on this. And I wish Trav was here, actually.
Yeah.
So,
Kim,
I was going to go to Robert's question about the non-band member that wanted to open a daycare on the reservation. That was that third category I had mentioned, any business on the reservation.
Yep. I think that one's a good category.
I think that's viable. I think it's very possible that could, and it doesn't have to be a daycare. It could be,
No, it could be a small machine shop or something like
a
that.
guide, somebody guiding on Vermilion. There's endless opportunities, and we should provide as much as possible.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up a comment that Tara had made when we talked about it last week, which I would have never thought of, she mentioned we don't have business leases in our leasing area. So that's a whole nother area that we have to develop too.
Yeah, Jeff, we just gave you another task.
But, so that's why it's important to collaborate with people and all that, but to get some of the other stuff in too.
I remember that we had a business lease for the Rosemary King's business at Indian Point, I believe. When they had that, he was working on a machine. He had his own business there a long time ago. I can't remember what his name was, her husband. But that was a business lease, I believe.
And just
That's
to clarify, there are a couple that have come up. So I think, but it's pretty rare. So I think there are a couple maybe that are in place because the BIA kind of defines business too a little bit pretty broadly. So it includes even like religious organizations and churches and things like that. So I think there are a few that have been in place that have come up that Dee Dee has seen. But to your point, it's pretty rare, and there's not a lot of policies and sort of a process for it.
Okay.
So.
That was Kelvin Edstrom. Thank you. I think we kind of defined it a little bit because it is going to be a revolving fund. So if people make payments and then we don't have the dollar amount set. So I think we all agree on all band members. I heard you mention descendants, first generation, and maybe go with on reservation businesses. That way, if Shane gets married and Christina wants to open a business, it could be on the reservation if she keeps him out of the business. Because I agree with what Tara said, because you could go co-partners in a business with the band member and the non-Indian spouse. Co-partner a business.
I think the other thing too is that, if we stick just to the reservation, are we limiting the chance of success?
No, that's for the anybody.
And could that be a concern? Because with the other businesses that the tribe tried to build and didn't work. I'd hate to see that. Anybody that applies for this, I want them to succeed, no matter what.
Yeah.
And to be able to pay the loan back, and then the business take off, and then they have the loan paid off, and their business is still thriving. That'd be awesome.
So the all band members is anywhere.
Yeah.
And the first generation, you guys haven't restricted that area. So the way I'm hearing it is first generation anywhere. And then the third category is just someone who has a business on the reservation that's non-native. And that's the only one that's restricted to the reservation. And that's what kind of Mille Lacs and Fond du Lac are doing. I
That's
think.
what Fond du Lac and Mille Lacs are doing.
Yeah, because it can potentially, as because the sales tax potential of collecting sales tax and remitting it to on the state may add to what comes back to the tribe.
Mhm.
If we hit certain, if we hit certain limits of businesses on the reservation. And not all businesses are subject to sales tax either, so.
On that last one, Kim, would we add legally married to have a business on the reservation? Because we did mention legally married too, so.
Well, I was going, because the one without a legal, Shane had mentioned legally married, but Robert brought up not married. He brought up the daycare example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, we're kind of like, the three of us are putting our own stuff out there, but I think that we can agree with that it's all band members, of course. But I think we need to sit down once Travis comes back, we sit down and then we just approve whatever else we need to approve.
Do we really need to answer today, Kim, or can you tell them that we've got one decided, but we want to know because one of our council members is gone?
Well, you remember they want to target to put the application in the last week of August in case there's problems, so we get feedback. So we're really down to 4 weeks. And
Okay.
as they write it, they need to know kind of stuff. And it's just getting everybody up to speed.
Yep.
Can I tell them all band members and first generational descendants?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And then tell them that there might be one small factor added. And if we could get that firmed up, within the next week.
Okay.
I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, I'm
That
fine with
sounds
that. Okay. Anything else, Kim?
No, that's all I needed.
Well, that's good. We've got to start. So that's really good. That's really good news for having businesses, for people. I think a lot of people want to do it, but they just don't have the resources or the help to get some of it started. So this is wonderful. Okay. Thank you, Kim. Great job again. Like I said, this is a big, tough program. So you did a great job. Okay, no other business. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
We got one discussion. Sorry. We had
Discussion. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Tara. In-person meetings. Sorry about that. All my doodling on my agenda here, I missed it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to know when we are able to go to in-person meetings. With respect to, I know that we do need to be thinking about COVID and I don't know how much the Eagle Room can hold the COVID restrictions. And I admittedly, I haven't been to a Turk meeting, so I don't know, I haven't been to one in a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want to know, do we have that on our radar, and are we just going day by day thinking about it? Is there a date or a goal date that we want to go in person?
I know that at our Turk meetings, what we've been doing is kind of going by the recommendation of our community health nurses. Right now, we are having an uptick in cases, and COVID is kind of coming back. I actually had a couple family members just overnight tell me they got it, and it's coming back at a rampant rage. We don't want to put a date on it because we don't know, because it's been such a roller coaster ride, because we discussed that before. So we kind of go by the recommendations, and I don't know if we're at Rob, can you refresh my memory? I think that we are at like a certain capacity.
Yep, we are back to phase 2. We stepped back. and that's in-person meetings. I'm trying to look it up right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
On what we actually, there is a capacity level, but I do believe if spaced out, I do believe we could safely do that, but we should check with Terry Morrison,
Okay.
our community health nurse, just to verify that. But I do believe we could make that work in a big room.
Okay.
I think that one thing I would recommend is that when we do that also, is that we don't connect our desks like they normally connected. We keep them kind of like spread further apart from each other. That way we're not so close.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'd have to pull it out farther into that big room like that.
I can get that together for you guys for Monday morning update quick, like if that's okay. And
Yep,
then
that would be
send
good.
it there, and then
Yeah, that would be good, because then I believe Terry's out this week, so that'll work perfect.
Yep.
Okay. And then we'll get something out once we know what's going on in that manner.
I just wanted to bring it up because we have had large events, the swearing in, and we just had something for a special, item for David. So, we are doing things on a larger capacity right now. So that's what I thought, why can't we do it with the RTC meetings when we're disseminating a lot of information and discussion? Until we do go in person, can we try to make this as transparent and an involvement with the community? Because I know using Zoom here and using what is it? I forget what other avenue
Teams.
do you guys use? What is it?
Teams.
Teams, yeah. And then there's another one.
YouTube.
YouTube, there we go. It's not as interactive, with the public. It's not very, not very helpful. So they can't comment or they can't ask questions, or, only if somebody spots it really quick, will a question or answer be, So I think we just need to be a lot more transparent than we are right now, and actively pursuing that until we go in person.
Yeah, I think that's something we'll have to talk with our IT department about for seeing what we can and can't do, as far as, because I am getting some comments about it's hard to go live when people spread out farther, because then you can't see everybody and they may not see who's talking. So it's just a matter of how are we going to get it set up. So we'll have to discuss that with IT to see what our capabilities are and how to make it work, I guess. So we'll see what we can do, and we'll get that, maybe if we can get that ready for, or talk with IT and get it for the Monday morning meetings. Just for everybody's knowledge, is that we usually try to have the council get together on Monday mornings to discuss items that come up, either that they're made aware of, or that future items that we're looking at. And so this past Monday, we didn't get a chance to do it because we had a severe storm come through, and some of Vermilion was without power, and Robert was over in Vermilion trying to help there. And then he ended up coming up in the afternoon, but it was a bad day on Monday because Mother Nature decided to throw a nice storm at us. So, but we will be having another Monday morning meeting this Monday. And that's where we'll get some answers to Kara's questions and start moving forward with some of Kim's questions too that she's had. So
I just want to point out too that I have been in the last maybe 2 meetings here. I do put the link to attend on the events calendar on the webpage.
Oh, okay.
So, and that it's not going to the YouTube page, it's coming here. So people who want to attend the meeting.
And can they type? I'm not tech
Yeah.
savvy. They can type in the chat then. And
Yep.
so do you monitor the chat, Nikki?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But we'll get some more questions and answers, and hopefully more answers and questions, but we'll get moving on that. So any other discussion, Tara or Robert or Shane? Or good meeting. Okay, so anyway, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Tara, you got it right.
Second.
Tara and Robert, first and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. And just a heads up, guys, there are increases in COVID cases. People over 50 should get their second booster shot to help them, those individuals over 50. For those people with underlying health conditions, they say to contact your provider. But there are home test kits available at our clinics if people want them. They you've heard on the news that they feel the cases are underreported because a lot of people are testing at home. And so please be safe, and hope you all have a nice week and summer so far. So with that, we'd like to say Giga Wabaman. Have a good day.
You're welcome.